All right, this is Conformity Gate Part 2. I wasn't planning on making a second part, but honestly, there's so many things that I missed and did not go over in my previous video, and a couple of you said you'd be down for another video about this. It's probably the last time I'm going to talk about it, I think. But who knows? Things change every day. If you did not watch my first video, maybe go back and watch that for more context. But if not, whatever. Little disclaimer, let's not take this too seriously, okay? Let's not get too mad about this. Let's not call each other delusional or stupid. This is purely for fun, and guys, it's about a fictional show. It's about a sci-fi show. I don't know why we all gotta be angry about it. Also, I'm filming this on March 22nd, so before we start, happy birthday, Will Byers. I would never forget your birthday. Early this year, Netflix came out with an advertisement for all their upcoming shows in 2026, and a lot of people thought it was Stranger Things coded. There were a lot of references to Stranger Things in the trailer because it's one of their biggest IPs, but they were also talking about other shows and movies that they have to offer on Netflix. It's called #What's Next. That's Netflix's thing. What's next? The young actress looks like young Joyce Byers. There's a silver cat, just like the Russian code in season 3, the silver cat feeds. She meets the tarot card reader at the end. Blue meets yellow in the West. She's wearing blue. I'm gonna be honest, when people were breaking this down, I thought it was a reach. I did, and I still do. I obviously saw the Stranger Things references in this advertisement, but I did not think it was that deep. I did not think it was like a Stranger Things advertisement. It's a Netflix advertisement for multiple shows that they have. But I'm telling you this so that you can just keep it in mind, okay? #What's next. All right, let's move on. Netflix also came out with an ad. They said, in 2026, you will be deceived and you will like it. Again, this doesn't have to be about Stranger Things. It could be about any of their other shows. But if the shoe fits, you know what I mean? If we got a fake ending and there's more to come, you will be deceived and you will like it. So think about that. Think about the context of that. Now let's talk about the actor who plays Dr. Brenner, aka Papa, Matthew Modine. Matthew Modine has been up to some suspicious activity on Instagram. He keeps posting these odd reels of him as Papa. He posted this video of him going down the hall in the lab, and he goes through the door that says 11 on it. Then later on, he posted a reel of just his face. Again, he's dressed as Papa. He posts a reel of his face, and there's a clock ticking, and the caption says, waiting, ... Now, this man could very well just be trolling us. He could just be in it for the love of the game. I'm not for a second doubting that that's all it could be, but it's interesting. And then if you go and read all the comments, he's liking a lot of suspicious comments, and he's replying to a lot of comments in a certain way. Somebody asked him point blank, did you like the finale? And he replied, no. And that objectively is hilarious. I love that someone's being honest. Someone had to say it, you know? Someone from the cast had to just be honest and say it. That's hilarious objectively. But he loves talking to fans about this stuff. Anytime anyone asks him, do you like Byler? Do you like Will and Mike? He says, love is love. Love is love is love. Like, he's so real. This man is so real. Whether he's trolling or not, he's hilarious. But guess what he posted just a few days ago? Just a picture with text that says, what's next? Kind of like the Netflix ad, what's next? It could just be coincidence though. Like, it's, you know, anybody could ask that question. You go through the comments and someone says, perhaps love wins? And he responded, I hope so. Another gate for Conformity Gate is also called Love Wins Gate. If you don't know, love wins. This is mostly pertaining to Mike and Will, but it does go hand in hand with Conformity Gate. Conformity Gate and Love Wins Gate are this. You can't have Conformity Gate without Love Wins. I'm sorry. That's simply true. Someone commented, happiness for those disappointed, where love wins? He says yes. And then he liked a comment where someone said, we really need a season 6. Oh, and someone commented, when was the last time you filmed on the show, Papa? And he replied, is it a show? Again, like, this man This man could be trolling us. However, hypothetically, walk with me here. Hypothetically, if conformity gate is true, if there is more that we haven't seen yet, if we are being deceived right now, how cool would it be if the actors were also following suit with that? Nobody has come out and point blank said conformity gate is not real. A lot of the cast has been asked those questions, whether it's on podcasts and interviews, and they always deny it, of course, because if this were to happen, those actors are not breaking their NDAs. They're not going to tell the truth on somebody's podcast. I'm sorry. For those saying, well, Joe Keery said it's not going to happen. Gayton said it's not going to happen. Caleb said move on. So clearly, guys, conformity gate is not real. You have to understand, if we're right and conformity gate is real or there's more to come, those actors are not allowed to say it. They're not allowed to say it. They have an NDA. Do you remember when Andrew Garfield kept getting asked if he was going to be in Spider-Man No Way Home? And he kept saying, no, I'm not in it. No, it's Photoshop. No, I'm not in it. And then guess what? He was in it. But of course he was going to lie about it because it's a secret. Like, it's an NDA. He can't spill his guts like that. It very well could be true that these actors are telling the truth and they're like, no, guys, there's nothing more coming. But if there is, they would still say no. But the fact that Matthew Modine, who plays Dr. Brenner, is kind of like playing into this and leaning into it, and he's kind of like, is it a show? He's kind of like melting the fictional world into the real world and kind of just, playing along with us. And though it could just be for fun, how cool would it be if hypothetically he was in on it? Like, just think about it. Just think about it. Especially, you think about his role in the show. He's Dr. Brenner. He made this discovery. He was keeping all of these children. He was doing these experiments. Like, he has a very important role in the show. And even though Dr. Brenner dies in season 4, I don't know. I'm just saying, if there was someone in the show that would know more about what's going on, it would be him. Because this man had an entire lab full of secrets and full of experiments and full of mysterious stuff going on. This man knows more than the other characters in the show. So hypothetically, how cool would it be if we are under Vecna's curse and all of these actors are coming out saying, guys, let it go, nothing's happening, nothing's real. But then Dr. Brenner is coming out and kind of debunking that. How cool would it be if he really was playing along and it meant something? Speaking of Papa, one thing I didn't include in my last Conformity Gate video, because I actually noticed it while I was editing it, at the graduation, when everybody's sitting like this, they're sitting like Henry. There's one man in the audience who is not sitting like Henry. That man looks like Papa. That man is dressed in a full suit and he has white hair. Now, I don't think it's the same actor. Like, I don't actually think it's Dr. Brenner. But how interesting is it that everybody's sitting the same way except a man that is dressed exactly like Dr. Brenner and also has white hair like him, and from a distance does just look like Dr. Brenner? Just saying, that's interesting. I came across this interview the other day. Credits to the TikTok user that compiled this video together. I'm going to play their video. I didn't make it, they did. But there's an interview with the Duffer brothers during the season 5 press tour where they admit they love when a show or movie has kind of a cozy, colorful, dreamlike feeling, but there's something off about it and something unsettling about it.
We've played around a lot with memory and dreams and things like that throughout the show, but we really wanted to just go, well, what if we just fully dive in this year? Because there's nothing to me creepier than something like that. We talked a lot about The Cell, Tarsum's The Cell, and sort of when you're in the mind of a serial killer and what does that feel like. And we love the idea of something, yes, that looks cozy.
Comfort and happiness.
There's just something off about it, and that can feel very nightmarish in its own way, and just as scary as, a big CG monster.
I mean, the thing that's cool is the giant monster.
And that, my friends, goes to prove that the ending absolutely was meant to feel unsettling and wrong. It was, and they even admitted that. Though I know this doesn't mean we're definitely getting more. We're getting more episodes. We're getting another season. Though that doesn't necessarily mean that. They did admit that they did that on purpose. They didn't end the show thinking, oh, this is just a very happy, beautiful, perfect ending, you guys. Like, there's nothing wrong with this ending whatsoever. They made it off-putting on purpose. There's no denying that, because they even admitted it. That just goes to show we're right. The epilogue was weird as hell, and it felt so weird. It didn't feel real, and they even came out and said that. Yeah, we love that shit. We love when things are a little bit creepy. We love when things are a little too perfect that it makes you feel uncomfortable. There are a few behind-the-scenes stuff that we were shown, whether in an Instagram post or what, and then it didn't end up happening in the show. During the filming of season 4, Noah Schnapp posted a picture of him wearing like a harness on his waist, you know, like the kind of thing they'd hook you up if they're gonna like lift you into the air or throw you around. He's wearing a harness, and he put a little caption on it, "Harnessed up." Do you guys remember a scene in season 4 where Will Byers was being thrown around? You remember any sort of like CGI, like Will Byers getting lifted up into the air, tossed around? I don't. I was rattling my brain trying to think of a scene in season 4 where this harness could be utilized, but I honestly couldn't think of anything. I was like, they didn't even get into a car crash, you know? I don't know why Noah Schnapp needed to be wearing a harness. The young child actors for young Will and Mike for season 5, when Will is on the ground and he's thinking about his childhood, he's thinking about when him and Mike first met, and he's thinking about building Castle Byers with Jonathan and Joyce. The young actors who play Will and Mike, their parents posted pictures of them on Instagram. They were apparently filming CGI scenes, except there were no CGI scenes with these kids. They were simple outdoor shots, some indoor shots. You know, we saw them on the swings. We saw them in Mike's basement. What was this footage used for? Someone commented, what were these scenes used for? I don't think we saw any CGI of these kids in the show. And their parent responded, we don't know. I guess they got it just in case. We were scared they were going to AI his face or something. But that's all they said. They were like, we don't know. Maybe they just got it just in case. It just seems like a lot more effort to go out of your way to like go to these studios and film this footage in case you need to use it for CGI and never end up using it. You didn't need to. The only scenes you used these kids for were very simple scenes. We're going to go more into like the D&D side of things for a second. We're going to talk about Thessalhydras. When Will gave Mike the painting and we saw the 3-headed dragon, a lot of fans thought, oh, season 5 is going to have a Thessalhydra, the monster with like 8 heads. Obviously, we didn't get that, and that's totally fine. But it's weird how many times the Thessalhydra theme keeps coming up. At the end of season 1, when the kids are playing another D&D campaign, the Thessalhydra comes into play. The show keeps taking these D&D references and kind of giving them its own meaning. You know, Vecna is from D&D, Demogorgons are from D&D, but they're not traditional D&D characters. Like the show kind of takes it and gives it a new form. And the kids name these monsters after D&D monsters because that's what they know, that's what they're familiar with, but it doesn't mean it's like traditionally, you know, a Demogorgon in D&D is very different from the Demogorgon in Stranger Things. And in season 5, when Vecna is in Dimension X and he's kind of like in that weird fleshy mind flayer monster, the spheres where the kids are being held all look like dragon heads. They look exactly like dragon heads. And even in the documentary One Last Adventure, when they're building the set, they mention dragon-like scales. They look like dragon heads, resembles Will's painting. It's kind of like the Thessalhydra with 8 heads, and then they just don't use it. Listen, I don't need Stranger Things to have a bunch of giant CGI monsters. I don't need Eddie Munson to come back as a vampire. I don't even need a Thessalhydra, you know? I don't need it to be ridiculous like that. But they mention it many times, and they built this whole like fleshy wall with heads that look like dragons, and then they just never talk about it, and it resembles Will's painting. It feels like a weird thing to set up and to design and put work into it and then never do anything with that. Bro, that's an eyeball. Do you see what I mean? Where? And then it's just gone. It's covered up. Tell me that doesn't look like a dragon. And it has an eye. It has an eye. I noticed it when I was watching it and I can't get it out of my head. Why does it have an eye? Now let's go back to Nancy's vision in season 4. The very thing that started all of this. The very thing that Vecna said, this is going to happen. Hawkins will be destroyed. Your family will be dead. She says there was a giant monster with a gaping mouth.
This giant creature with a gaping mouth.
What? Okay. Guys. What's the monster with a gaping mouth? I mean, it could be the big fleshy mind flayer that they defeated in the last episode. But wouldn't Nancy realize that resembles the flesh mind flayer that they defeated in season 3? Like, she saw that with her own eyes, right? I don't know. She talks about there's a monster with a gaping mouth. She could just be talking about the final battle monster. But what if it's not? I mean, they didn't show us. Again, they did not show us what she saw. She's only describing it to us. And a lot of things did come to fruition. Hawkins did split into 4. Her parents got injured. Holly got captured. But nothing happened to Mike. And where was this monster with the gaping mouth? Was it just the final battle monster? But it looks just like the monster she saw in season 3, so why didn't she just say that? Why didn't she just say, I saw the same thing we saw, but it's bigger now? She says, but it wasn't alone. There were so many monsters. It was an army.
And this creature wasn't alone. There were so many monsters.
And then the Duffer brothers come out and they come out with this documentary and they say, should we have Demogorgons in the final fight? I'm worried about demo fatigue. Perhaps just the CGI monster is good enough. Need I remind you, season 4 and season 5 were written together. And Nancy is telling us what's going to happen. And she says this monster wasn't alone. It had a whole army. There were so many monsters. Let's not have Demogorgons in the fight. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. That is a deliberate choice. That's a deliberate choice. They know what they're doing. Listen, I'm not here to glaze the Duffer brothers. I'm not here to glaze the Duffer brothers. If anything, I think that the other writers on their team deserve the respect and praise, okay? Not the Duffer brothers necessarily. But guys, they're not that stupid. They might be a little bit, but they're not that stupid, okay? They love to foreshadow. They love to tell us what's going to happen before they show it. We all know that. The show has more yapping than showing, okay? Nancy tells us what's going to happen, but not all of it happens. But if we are being deceived, if Mike or any of the other characters are under Vecna's spell, if we are shown something else, that we didn't actually see Nancy's vision come true. What was the monster with the gaping mouth? Where was the army of monsters she was talking about? Why do they have eyes? Why do they look like dragon heads? I'll make fun of the Duffer brothers all day long. I'll talk shit about the Duffer brothers all day long. But I don't think they're that stupid, you guys. Real quick, I just want to talk about Divorcegate for a second, okay? Because a lot of people bring this up. A lot of people say, well, guys, Lee Janiak is actually responsible for the real story of Stranger Things, and once she divorced Ross, she left with the real script. Okay. When I first heard about Divorcegate, right after the finale ended, when I was still grieving, when I was still upset, when I was still processing the ending, and I felt so betrayed, when I first heard about Divorcegate, I also believed in it immediately, without question. I was like, well, of course, a woman would be the mastermind behind Stranger Things, and once she left the story, it just went to shit. Of course that would happen. And Lee Janiak is a brilliant writer. I love the Fear Street movies. You guys should definitely check those out if you haven't already. The Fear Street movies are great. She's a very talented writer, and she's so cool, and she's so awesome, and Ross definitely fumbled her. But when I really sat and thought about Divorcegate, I was like, this actually doesn't add up. She's not credited anywhere for writing on Stranger Things, but I know that all the time, it happens all the time, men steal women's work and put their name on it, and women don't get credited. Don't get me wrong. I know that happens all the time, but I don't think that it happened here. I think, well, first of all, it would be really shitty if Lee Janiak was responsible for a lot of the writing on Stranger Things and never got credit. Yeah, that would be so shitty, especially because they have so many other writers on their team, including Kate Treefy, who is a very talented writer, and she's a woman. You know, for no one to step up and say anything, that would suck. I would like to think that they wouldn't do that they first of all wouldn't give this woman any credit, and then secondly wouldn't speak up about it, right? I do think she was very heavily involved. I do think that a lot of the magic of Stranger Things, probably we have her to thank for it. This woman is so talented and has amazing vision for her stories, so I don't doubt for one second that she wasn't heavily involved in Stranger Things. However, I don't think that she's the only one who's responsible for writing it. To anyone commenting, Divorcegate is real. Lee Janiak is the one responsible for Stranger Things, and once she and Ross got divorced, like, she left with the real script. Not only do I not think that's true, but that is doing a huge disservice to the other writers on the team. Paul Dichter is responsible for writing Dear Billy and The Sorcerer, which are two of the most highly rated episodes of Stranger Things of all time. Kate Treefy is a very talented writer. She wrote the first Shadow play almost by herself, and she also has been in the writing room with the Duffer brothers for years and years. Like, I think that is unfair, and it is disrespectful to the other writers on the team to say that Ross Duffer's ex-wife is the only person who knew how to write anything. And I'm not here to glaze the Duffer brothers. Like I said, we can clown them all day long. That's fine with me. But I don't want to put that on the other writers. That doesn't feel fair and doesn't feel right. Also, at the end of the day, let's not put somebody's divorce under a microscope. And you know what I mean? That's really shitty, because a divorce can be a very traumatic, heartbreaking thing. And maybe in their case it's not. Maybe it was mutual and it was cool and fine. But we don't know that. And so I do want to just point out, I don't think Divorcegate is real. I do believe that Lee Janiak is an incredible writer, and I do believe that she had her hands in Stranger Things and that she is responsible for a lot of the magic behind the scenes. However, it's not realistic, especially because her name is not credited anywhere, which doesn't mean she wasn't involved, but if her name is not credited in the writer's room, she doesn't own the rights to Stranger Things. I don't think even legally she could write the whole script and then take it with her in the divorce. Like, her name is not on Stranger Things like that. So legally, it doesn't make sense either. I just wanted to talk about that real quick because, I did believe in Divorcegate when I first heard it too. I just don't think it's likely. So let's try to be a little bit more mindful of that. They just announced the other day that they are officially releasing all of Stranger Things, physical media, DVD, box sets, really, really cool, with exclusive art. They're not releasing it until July. The official script release for season 5 and special Funko Pops and merch items, and now the box set, it's not getting released until July, which is the 10-year anniversary of Stranger Things. It is coming out quite a while after the show ended. Like, it's coming out 7 months after the show ended. Also, the Tales from 85, the animated show that's coming out in April, already got renewed for a season 2, except nobody's watched it yet. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know a single person who's excited for it. I don't know. I mean, that very well could be a cash grab. Who knows? After watching the trailer for Tales from 85, and seeing that they have new characters, new monsters and everything, I'm wondering if it's an alternate reality. If they were gonna do something with time travel, quantum leaping, or alternate dimensions, an animated show could be a cool way to do it. I'm trying to be open-minded and hopeful about the animated show, but let's be honest, I'm like, who the fuck is Nikki? Who is that? When it comes out, maybe I'll do a review on it. I don't know if anyone even is interested in that. I don't even know if it's gonna, we don't even know if it's gonna be good. But it's already renewed for season 2. Who is Nikki? I'm tired. I think I'm getting close to wrapping up this video. It's probably a lot shorter than my last video. But I do want to point out one more thing. Because conformity gate and love wins gate do go hand in hand, whether you like it or not. I do want to talk about Byler for a quick hot second. After the show ends, it's interesting that so many of the cast are now coming out and saying how they shipped Byler, how they always loved Byler. Maya Hawke was on Jimmy Fallon, and they were doing the the yearbook, like, who's most likely to do this. And then she put Mike and Will as best couple that never was. And Jimmy and everyone else were cheering for that. And then Jamie Campbell Bower just came out and said that he ships Byler. So sweet. And it's so interesting to me that now, after the show ended, a bunch of people are showing their support for Byler, including the cast. If Byler were to still happen, now I know I'm probably so delusional and I'm too far gone, I'm too delusional. But if love is the key, right? If love is what sets you free from conformity, and if there is a true ending, there can't be a true ending without Byler. So why are the cast members coming out now and trying to push Byler onto us? Unless, what if they were trying to open our minds to it before it happens? Hear me out. If love wins, if conformity gate is real, if love wins is real, it would make perfect and beautiful sense for them to end the show in a dissatisfying way for so many reasons, for so many characters, and make some people happy, but the majority of the audience upset about the way it ending. That if there were to be something else coming in the future, most fans would be so much more accepting and open-minded and willing to accept Byler for what it is, because they were so upset about the way it ended that they're willing to take anything at this point, anything else, anything better. And all the homophobic people and all the people that hated on Byler and never saw it as being true, a lot of them have since changed their minds or are more open-minded to it, because the way that it ended was so off-putting and was so dissatisfying. So think about it. Like, if we're really using our big brains here, right? How much cooler and more impactful would it be if Byler were still to happen, but not until way after the fact? And then the cast members are coming out in interviews talking about how much they love Byler, which we all know they did. Like, if you saw the table read for the Sorcerer when Mike and Will are talking in the field, all of the actors sitting around that table read are smiling, they're giddy, they're fangirling, they're blushing, they're like, this formula of like, let's disappoint the fans. Let's make them go crazy a little bit. Let's make them wait. Then let's give them a new ending with Byler, where love wins. A lot of people who were previously homophobic or, did not see Byler or did not like Byler, a lot of those people have already since changed their minds. A lot of people switched sides after the ending because they were like, wait, now I see Byler, because why did it end like that? It's actually brilliant if they were to pull this off. Also, Byler being the #1 ship on Tumblr. Come on, guys. The Byler hype is not going anywhere. It's not dying down. If anything, it's gotten stronger. It's blown up after the finale. If they were to pull this off, this wait period actually is the best thing for Byler. I hope you liked this video. I hope that you found maybe something new or interesting about it. Maybe I'm just saying a bunch of stuff you already knew. The Byler song is coming soon. It's coming soon. I have most of it recorded, but my friend agreed to play cello on it. Right. So wait a couple more weeks for that, but it should be here soon, okay? It should be here soon. All right, bye-bye.